Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening Show on Saturday. And in this part of the Cricket Opening Show, we are going to look at two matches which were played in the Champions League 2013 today, which was the 13th match which was in Group B and the 12th match which was in Group B. So first, the first match between the 12th match, that is the Group B match between Titans and the Sunrisers Hyderabad. In fact, Sunrisers Hyderabad really today they were restricted to 145 for 7 by some very good bowling from the Titans bowlers. And as far as Titans were concerned, they really it was I would say it was an absolutely easy victory for them. They won the match in a very convincing fashion by 8 wickets. And as far as the next match was concerned, which was between Brisbane Heat and the Chennai Super Kings, well, the Chennai Super Kings bowlers, especially the spinners, Ashwin Jadeja and Suresh Raina, spinning a web around the Brisbane Heat batsmen and making life difficult for them. Not only that, Ravichandran Ashwin, with his mesmerizing spell of bowling, really making them really search for the ball. What it did is Brisbane Heat were restricted to 137 for 7, and Chennai Super Kings going on to a very easy victory here by 8 wickets. Not only going to an easy victory by 8 wickets, but in the process being the first team to enter the semi-final stage of the Champions League T20. What a performance from Chennai Super Kings. Now we will come to that later. So, and also if time permits me, we will have a look at a match where India A, as you know, have been pretty dominant. They beat in the Tri-Series, they beat Australia A over there in South Africa. Then they also won against New Zealand A, but against West Indies A in the first unofficial test match. The West Indies spinners, now that is very surprising. India normally bred on spin. The Indian batsmen found it very difficult. The Indian A batsmen found it very difficult with a target of 315 runs. In fact, were really rooted by the spinners Nikita Miller, the left-arm spinner Nikita Miller, who took 5 wickets for 40 runs, and Veersamy Permaul, who bowled took 3 for 56, and Narsingh Dinarayan chipping it with 2 wickets. Well, I'll come to that later if at all time permits me. But first, let me talk about the first match which was played in the Champions League T20 2013 at the JSC International Stadium Complex in Ranchi. It was between Titans versus the Sunrisers Hyderabad, and Titans were the ones who won the toss, and they decided to insert the Sunrisers Hyderabad to bat, and it was a good decision. In fact, Sunrisers Hyderabad, as we have seen, that their main strength has been the openers Parthiv Patel and Shikhar Dhawan, giving them some very good starts. And today too, it was a similar scene. So probably at that particular time, the Henry Davids, the Titans captain, would have been really wondering whether he took the right decision, because the bowling was in the hands of Mone Morkel, who was really clattered for runs by both Parthiv Patel and Shikhar Dhawan. Anything short, anything, they were not afraid to go over the top, and anything was cut with lots of ferocity. And both of them collected 62 runs in 7 overs. So basically, it took them only 39 balls to put up a partnership of 62 runs. And finally, everything started happening once this partnership, the opening partnership, was broken. The Sunrisers Hyderabad innings totally went into a real tailspin. As the first wicket to go, in fact, I'm not just going to talk about it. It was all started by David Weiss, the right arm off spinner, who really started the damage by first picking up the wicket of Shikhar Dhawan, who was caught by Morkel bowled Weiss for 37 of 21 balls with 7 fours and 1 6. Parthiv Patel following him to the pavilion with the total score on 71 for Sunrisers Hyderabad. He was bowled by Weiss for 26 of 24 balls with 2 fours and 2 sixes. And that was the time, 71 for 2. And after that, the innings never gained any momentum, with wickets falling. Wickets really, as I said, the whole innings went into a tailspin after the departure of the openers, with Dumini out for 17 of 28 balls, really was scratching around there. Vihari could contribute only 6. Again, David Weiss was the one who came in and picked the wicket. First he dismissed the openers, then he picked up the wicket of Vihari with a wonderful catch taken by the Titans captain Henry Davids, who had to really run after the ball, keep an eye on the ball, and he lunged forward and took a stupendous catch, I thought. So he was gone, and Samantrai could make only a duck. Tisra Pereira just making 11 runs of 16 balls was run out. 1 to Darren Sammy, who played today. In the end, it was the 10th wicket pair of Dale Steyn who went after Merchant de Lang in some wonderful fashion, and that was the precise reason the Sunrisers Hyderabad, thanks to Dale Steyn slogging Merchant de Lang, the fastest bowler, all across the park, by first scooping him, hitting him for a 6, then hitting him for 2 fours over point to really damage the figures of Merchant de Lang. And Dale Steyn went on to make merry by contributing an unbeaten 27 of 12 balls with 3 fours and 2 sixes, and that was the knock which actually took Sunrisers Hyderabad to 145 for 7 and 112 for 7 at one stage. The score went from the 18th over, the score, that is 17.4 overs, was 112. So basically in 14 balls, thanks to Dale Steyn, who racked up runs by getting 33 runs. He got company from Karan Sharma, not out on 11 of 6 balls with 1 4 and 1 6. The bowling figures, Henry Davids, the captain of the Titans team, did a wonderful job. He brought himself into the attack and he bowled splendidly, I thought, to just give away only 18 runs of his 4 overs. That was splendid bowling by him. Morkel taken to the cleaners today, none for 42. Rowan Richards today, well, he did his job, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 24. Merchant de Lang getting some taps from Dale Steyn, 4 overs, no maiden, 142. David Weiss, the wicket taker, 3 for 17. And as far as Titans innings were concerned, Titans went on to a century partnership. Their openers really, with a score of 145, Sunrisers Hyderabad absolutely had no chance because of the opening partnership which was set, and this was a pretty aggressive partnership. And the way was led by the Titans captain Henry Davids himself by slamming runs aplenty. Dale Steyn was definitely given lots of respect, but he went after Tisra Pereira. Ishan Sharma was really clattered all over the park, and even all the bowlers had to suffer. Amit Mishra, Dumini, Sammy, everyone got taken for runs. Henry Davids was looking superb. In fact, if you look at his knock, he made 64 runs of 42 balls with 7 fours and 4 sixes, which included a 6, which was hit off the bowling of Dale Steyn. Now that is something that one has to really note. Dale Steyn was, it's an inside-out shot by Henry Davids, the captain of Titans, who actually lofted by an inside-out shot, hitting a 6 of the bowling of Dale Steyn. It included 1 6, so he had 4 fours and 7 sixes in a knock of 64 of 42 balls, and he was given admirable company by Jack Rudolph, who contributed 49 of 42 balls with 3 fours and 2 sixes. And the first wicket for Titans fell at 112, but almost all the damage was done, because in 12 overs 112 runs were on the board. And then it was A.B. de Villiers who also hit 2 fours in a knock of 9 of 7 balls, being victim of Ishan Sharma. And then Kuhn was the one who gave the finishing touches to the game by finishing it off in a flash by contributing an unbeaten 15 of 8 balls with 1 4 and 1 6. 147 for 2 was the final tally. Titan winning the match by 8 wickets. The bowling, Karan Sharma, the leg spinner, bowling just 1 over for 9 runs, never bowled after that. Steyn was economical, 4 overs, no maiden, 1 for 23. Ishan Sharma was costly, 1 for 32. 2.3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 20. And Pereira was the one who suffered the maximum tap at the hands of Henry Davids, the captain of the Titans team. So that was the match. As I said, Henry Davids, the captain, for his very aggressive knock of 64 of 42 balls with 7 fours and 4 sixes, was handed the man of the match. Now let's go into the 13th match, which was between Brisbane Heat and Chennai Super Kings. As far as the Brisbane Heat and Chennai Super Kings match was concerned, it was the Chennai Super Kings actually winning the toss and inserting the Brisbane Heat to bat. There was a lot of dew on the pitch, and the Brisbane Heat really struggled. In fact, they lost the first wicket of Michael of the bowling of Sharma for, it was Mohit Sharma who actually gave them the breakthrough. He was out for a blob. After that, it was Lynn and Hopes who actually started stabilizing things by taking the score on to 29 in the 4th over. But Albie Morkel picked up the wicket of, no, in fact it was Lynn who was first out. This was the time when the spinners were introduced. And once the spinners were introduced, the Brisbane Heat was really struggling. With runs were pretty hard to come by. With it was a very good ploy on the part of Dhoni. What he did is he decided to give the ball to the spinners, and they definitely did their job. In fact, if you look at the bowling figures, Ashwin was totally unplayable. In fact, the Brisbane Heat batsmen were really searching for the ball. In fact, Ashwin was the one who took the first wicket of Lynn. Caught Jadeja, bowled Ashwin for 29 of 25 balls with 4 fours and 1 6. And even the spinners, Ravindra Jadeja was also good. He also picked up 4 overs, no maiden, 18 runs and 2 wickets. And Suresh Raina bowling 3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 9. In fact, we looked 11 overs. If you look at that, this was the time, this was the thing which actually had Brisbane Heat really struggling. When the spinners came into the equation, it was pretty difficult for the Brisbane Heat to live up to it, and they were really struggling, especially with Ashwin. They were really searching for the ball. They couldn't understand the concoction that Ashwin was actually bowling. And as far as the batting was concerned, Hopes contributing 20 of 14 balls with 4 fours. Other than Christian was out for 3, Burns was out for a duck. Hartley was the one who made 35 of 32 balls with 3 fours. But Brisbane Heat, they would be definitely thanking Ben Cutting for the knock of unbeaten 42 of 25 balls with 5 fours. That was the over. In fact, he absolutely, Ben Cutting went berserk and started hitting the pacers for sixes. And Ben Cutting's contribution was an unbeaten 42 of 25 balls. He really clubbed the ball with not hitting any boundary, but hitting 5 sixes in a knock of 42 of 25 balls, which was unbeaten. And that was what enabled Brisbane Heat, who were really struggling at one stage at 66 for 6, to reach a score of 137 for 7. Now, as far as the bowling figures were concerned, as I said, the spinners I already spoke about the bowling figures. Mohit Sharma 3 overs 2 for 35, Morkel 2 overs 1 for 15. Jason Holder was the one who really had to suffer the brunt of Ben Cutting's bat. 2 overs no maiden, none for 26. He was slapped for sixes by Ben Cutting, and Wayne Bravo bowling 2 overs for 20 runs also got some tap. Now, as far as Chennai Super Kings were concerned, Murli Vijay and Michael Hussey opened the innings. And Murli Vijay, as you know, he has already had 3 ducks, 3 consecutive ducks, and the pressure was absolutely on Murli Vijay. With a score of 137, the Chennai Super Kings really started off in a very I would say Hussey was pretty watchful, but Murli Vijay decided to get in his element, and today he was stroking the ball fluently and sweetly, and it was a very good partnership. In fact, Vijay also hit some sixes, and suddenly Vijay got into form, which was good for Chennai Super Kings. And both of them, Hussey and Vijay, put on 75 runs on the board in 9.2 overs, with Vijay's contribution being 42 of 27 balls with 5 fours and 2 sixes, with Cutting taking his wicket. And after that, Raina came in and joined Hussey. Hussey, well, he was not in a hurry at all. It was a pretty unhurried innings from Hussey. He decided to wait for the loose balls to hit, and he was allowing all the other batsmen around him to hit. After that, Suresh Raina joined. Suresh Raina contributed a quick 23 of 15 balls with 1 4 and 2 sixes. And Michael Hussey also hit some very good boundaries. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the captain of Chennai Super Kings, finishing it off with a 6 of the bowling of Ben Cutting, when he actually lofted him for a 6, and it was all over. So that was the winning hit from Mahendra Singh Dhoni, not out on 13 of 5 deliveries with 1 4 and 1 6. Michael Hussey was not out 57 of 48 balls with 7 fours, and Michael Hussey was the man of the match. So 140 for 2, Chennai Super Kings, absolutely, it was a very easy victory for them. They had absolutely no problem in getting the victory. And as far as the bowling was concerned, Hopes 1 over for 7 runs. Gale 2 overs, went for Matthew Gale was costly today, 22 runs coming off his over. Gannon bowled 3 overs, none for 19. So Gannon was actually, if I'm not sure whether he was making his debut, but Christian 3 overs, 1 for 16. Horwitz was really hit a lot. It was Murli Vijay really going after Nathan Horwitz. by hitting him for 36 runs of 3 overs. Ben cutting 3.5 overs, no maiden, 1 for 38. And Chennai Super Kings became the first team in the Champions League T20 2013 to secure a semi-final spot. And Chennai Super Kings winning the match by 8 wickets. Now quickly, before I end this YouTube broadcast, I would like to tell here that India A against West Indies A were set a target of 315, and considering that India are very, very good players of spin, it was very surprising to see that the batting lineup of India A really folded against the left arm spin of Nikita Miller, who bowled 36.4 overs, 16 maidens, 40 runs and 5 wickets, ably supported by Veersamy Permaul, who bowled 29 overs, 6 maidens, 56 runs and 3 wickets. Narsingh Narayan with his off spin, 11 overs no maiden, 2 for 29. If you look at it, all the wickets fell to the spinners, with India losing the match by 162 runs and thus losing the first test match to West Indies A by 162 runs, and India A were all out for 152. Barring Juneja, who made 70 with 4 fours and 1 6, there was nothing to really talk about, and that was it. So West Indies A are leading the 3-match series now, the 3-match unofficial test series 1-0, and one has to really congratulate the West Indies A for their effort in the first unofficial test match against India A. Well, on this very note, dear fans, friends and subscribers, your host will be taking leave on the Cricket Happening show now, and I'll be back tomorrow with the games which are coming up. I'm just trying to see what are the games which are coming up. Yes, there are 2 games coming up tomorrow on a Sunday. That is going to be another very good game, which is a must-win match for the Lions, and they are going to be facing some tough opposition. Otago, who hit the highest score in the T20 2013, and they are going to be Otago Wolves versus Lions of Jaipur, and another match would be between Rajasthan Royals and Perth Scorchers, who are yet to get off the mark, and this is going to be played at Jaipur. So 2 matches coming up, and I'll be back with 2 full match reports on both the matches. Until then, it's good night.